Yeah, so I'm talking here from this perspective of this continent, Australia, but I think a lot of what I say also pertains to Aotearoa, where I hail from originally. And of course, these are countries that have been colonised. And Australia particularly has an ecology, a very ancient ecology. It's a very ancient land. And it has been managed through an indigenous, managed by traditional custodians, based on indigenous science that has developed over 60, 70 plus thousand years, about how to preserve and nurture the soil. So what happened with colonisation came, particularly in Australia where it was extremely chaotic, and what we see in early records is that the land was very beautiful. It's often referred to as being like a magnificently farmed estate in the lushness of the grass and the cultivation of large trees and so on. And that was all managed by cultural burnings, small, very controlled burnings. And that built up carbon in the soil and so on. But very quickly, through sheep and cattle grazing, through land clearing, through damming and irrigation practices, the soils fell apart, and whole ecosystems there came apart too, with the removal of trees and with the prohibition of cultural burning as genocidal practices were in place, and certainly, people not being able to go onto country to do all the care for country. So what that means is that on top of the global picture of climate change, Australia here is its ecology is very fragile and vulnerable, and we've had really significant dust storms happening for some decades now as a result. I mean, not dissimilar what happened in the States with the Dust Bowls and so on. And what happens when land's not cared for through cultural burning is the scrubland builds up. So you've got a lot of secondary growth. It's very scrubby, very tightly placed together, sort of saplings, and they're highly flammable. So with the removal of that, that has certainly played a part in the very intense bushfires that we've seen in recent years. And there's also components of that have also fed into the flooding challenges too.